Since I've started this YouTube channel, I've tried a ton of different mice for PvP, but the mouse that I always go back to is the Logitech G Pro Wireless. The G Pro Wireless is still an insane mouse for PvP, and in this video, I wanted to explain what makes the G Pro Wireless so good and why it's still my main mouse for PvP. I'm also going to be explaining what attributes make a mouse good for PvP, so even if you're not considering buying a G Pro Wireless, I still think that this video is worth a watch if you're looking for buying a new mouse. Before I start the video, I do want to say one thing really quickly, and that is that we just restocked our desk pads on the Flow Shop. If you guys didn't know, this is a desk pad shop that I own with me and my friend, and we sell high quality desk pads with really unique designs. So if you're interested in spicing up your setup and you want a high quality desk pad to use for your mouse, then check the link in the description. But anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so one thing that I want to make clear before I get started is that any point that I say in this video is shared between the regular Logitech G Pro Wireless as well as the G Pro Wireless Superlight. The only real difference is that the Superlight is lighter, and while this does make a big difference in, say, FPS games, I really don't think that it makes that big of a difference in something like Minecraft PvP. If you're debating on which one to get, I'll try to make this easy. Get the Superlight if you want a mouse that's more universal for different games, especially like FPS games. And the regular G Pro Wireless is still a super solid option if you're on a budget or you just prefer a heavier mouse. So what makes the G Pro Wireless so good for PvP? And it's mostly two things for me. The first thing I wanted to talk about are the clicks on the G Pro Wireless. And while a lot of gaming mice nowadays have really good sensors and really good shapes, the G Pro Wireless is one of the only high-end mice that I know that have really light clicks on them. So the switches that the G Pro Wireless uses in its clicks are a custom variant of the popular Omron 20M switches. What's special about this custom variant though is that they're made to be lighter than most other variants of Omron 20M switches. I'm gonna throw up a spreadsheet on screen that shows the actuation force of different mouse switches. You can see that the Omron 20Ms that are used in the G Pro Wireless have an actuation force of 57 grams, which is a lot lighter than most of the switches that are on the list. I personally don't know any other high-end gaming mouse that comes with switches that are as light as the ones on the G Pro Wireless. The only other switches that I know that come on a mouse that can sort of compete to the lightness of the ones on the G Pro Wireless are the Razer Optical V2 switches. However, because they're optical, they sort of come with the problem with the clicks feeling sort of mushy, and they feel sort of weird to me to click on. And when it comes to mechanical switches, the G Pro Wireless has some of the lightest stock mechanical switches that you can find on a high-end gaming mouse. That's why a lot of people like me and Cheetah, for example, say that jitter clicking on the G Pro Wireless is pretty much effortless, because it really is. Both normal and jitter clicking is super easy on the G Pro Wireless, and that helps a lot with your clicking consistency and your aim. The less effort that it is to click your mouse, the easier it is to control your aim, and you can really feel it when using the G Pro Wireless. Now, for butterfly clicking, lighter switches don't really matter as much because you're already putting a lot of force into like slapping your fingers on your click, but the G Pro Wireless doesn't double click anyways, and it's mostly a mouse that's made for normal and jitter clicking, and you probably should have known that coming into this video. The next thing I want to talk about is the shape of the G Pro Wireless, and I do have to say that shape is something that is very subjective. My preference on shape might not be the same as yours, but I still do think that I have a pretty commonly shared opinion about the shape of the G Pro Wireless, just based off of the people that I've talked to about it. In my opinion, one of the most important factors when it comes to the shape of a mouse, especially in PvP, are the sides of the mouse, because they determine how you grip it. As you can see, the sides of the G Pro Wireless are big and flat, and this is exactly my preference when it comes to shape, and I really love mice that have big flat sides on them. Let me explain why by showing you some other mouse shapes. So one mouse shape that I really despise is the Bloody A Bedless. This mouse shape is bad for a lot of reasons, but the one thing that I really dislike about this shape are the sides of the mouse. You should be able to see that the sides of the mouse aren't perpendicular with the mouse body, they're sloped and they don't go straight down. Whenever a mouse has sloped or super curved sides like this, I find it really awkward to grip as I'm PvPing. For me personally, it feels a lot more ergonomic when the sides of the mouse are perpendicular with the mouse body and they just go straight down, and that makes it feel really natural for me to grip. Another mouse shape that I don't like using as much is the Roccat Cone Pro, and you can see on this mouse that the left side of the mouse has a really big thumb indentation where it becomes very concave and curved. If you grip your mouse more towards the front, then this isn't really a problem because the sides are flat when you grip it towards the front, but if you grip your mouse more towards the back, and this is how I personally grip my mouse, then it feels really awkward when your thumb is resting on such an uneven surface. The shape sort of forces you to grip it more towards the front for it to feel comfortable, and I personally really don't like it when mouse shapes try to conform your grip. That's why I usually don't like ergonomic shapes as much, and that's because they try to force you into a specific grip a lot of the times, and I personally have a very specific grip for jitter clicking, so when mice shapes force me to adjust my grip, I just find it unnatural and uncomfortable. And that's why I really appreciate the shape on the G Pro Wireless, because it doesn't force you into one grip, and the big flat sides that are on it make it really comfortable no matter how I decide to grip my mouse for PvP. I can't emphasize this enough, but I've enjoyed using every mouse shape that has big flat sides on it, and that's something that I really think is important. Another aspect of the shape that I think is really important are the clicks on the mouse, and the clicks on the mouse are super wide, which is something that I really like. This is something that's a little more niche for me, but personally with how I play, I put 2 fingers on my left click and jitter click that way, so it's important to me for a mouse to have wide enough clicks to accommodate 2 fingers on them, and the G Pro Wireless has more than enough room to fit 2 fingers on each click regardless of how big your fingers are. Those are the 2 biggest things that have made the G Pro Wireless such a hard mouse to switch off for me. Of course, there's other aspects like the build quality or the battery life or the wireless technology and sensor latency that matter, but those traits are pretty commonly shared in a lot of gaming mice nowadays, and the shape and the clicks on the G Pro Wireless is much more exclusive to itself. I mean, there's a lot of mice that have really good shapes nowadays that even rival the shape of the G Pro Wireless for me, but I think the biggest thing are the clicks on the G Pro Wireless. More companies need to start implementing lighter mechanical switches into their mice because it makes it a lot easier to click and aim with. If you want your mouse to have lighter clicks, however, then you can always consider switch swapping, and I made a video on that not too long ago, and I would recommend checking it out if you're interested. But anyways guys, that's gonna be pretty much it for this video, so thank you so much for watching. Make sure to check out the Flow Shop if you're interested once again in our desk pads. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you have a fantastic day, and with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.